Hello, everybody. This is Brian Marshall, host of the C-Suite Sherpa podcast, where we focus on great resources for the C-Suite. And speaking of great resources, we've got Kendra Wiiest from Perfectus Business Consulting. Kendra, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Brian, for having me. I really appreciate your time.
It's our pleasure. So tell us what you do and who you do it with.
Yeah, so I do business coaching and consulting. I've been coaching for about 10 years, and primarily who I work with are companies in the blue collar industry, generally around $1 to $15 million.
Now, you and I know each other from a common organization called Value Builder. So tell us a little bit about what you do for those clients. Maybe start with Value Builder and some of the other things you do.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Value Builder is a great resource. It's an entire program that has, like, as you know, has videos, tutorials, has great all around business development education. So, and I just came into Value Builder about 2 years ago. So I've just been using it kind of as a tool for my clients to be able to tap into. Honestly, the more educated my business owners are, the easier they are to coach. So that makes a huge difference. And Value Builder has researched over 80,000 businesses at this point. Again, as you know, we have some really good data on what works and what doesn't for business owners. And so what I do is I take my experience from being a coach over the last 10 years and then in leadership for the last 25. And then I use that Value Builder as a tool to help us navigate the entire system.
Yeah, one of the things that, and one of the reasons I wanted you to be a guest on the podcast is that there is a huge exodus of business owners that are moving on to the next part of life, even though I think a lot of them don't know what that next part of life is, what it looks like. I've been fortunate to exit a few times, and I'll tell you that exiting is not what you think it is. I woke up every morning after I sold my company with no purpose in life. The thing is, most businesses don't actually exit. I think it's 80% of all businesses that get listed for sale never sell. And one thing that's in common of the ones that do sell is they have an end game plan. They have a plan. Value Builder really helps you develop an end game plan. So tell me more about you're working with a business owner, want to exit within a few years. You've got Value Builder in your tool belt. What are some of the other things you do with them to help them prepare for that exit?
Yeah. So first of all, awesome job exiting some businesses. And wouldn't it be awesome if all of our business owners had some sort of a plan? I mean, we might be out of jobs, but but if they had some sort of plan of like what their identity looks like after they leave. And I
Yeah.
think that really touches my heart because I see it all the time with 60, 70-year olds where they've spent 40 years building their business and they don't want to let go of that. It's scary. They don't know what their next plan is going to be. And so providing that clarity for them can be so impactful. And so good job on that for figuring your stuff out because it's a journey for sure.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting is I when I came into Value Builder and really just coaching overall, I thought that I would be working with people who were exiting. I thought that my niche was going to be like business owners that are in their 60s and 70s and want to exit. What ended up happening was I am working a lot more with the people that are coming into the business. So it could be like a family transition. It could be, the business owners that are getting out, they're just done. They don't really want to do anything else with it. So they have sold and moved on. And then we've got these new ones coming in, and I say new as in my age. So not super young, although I do have a 26-year-old. But yeah, so they've maybe taken over within the last couple of years, and they've taken over a business that has been successful-ish for the last 40 years. And they know that they want more. They know that the younger generations want better team building. And so I really provide a lot of great information on still creating an exit plan for the younger generation because they don't want to work in it for 40 years. And then growing. And we do a lot of the people side of things. So in the value builder system, where we've got the hub and spoke model, I kind of focus on that area. And then I teach them not only when to hire, but how to find really good people. And then once they do, how do you keep them? How do you build a team that is profitable for your company? They're, making your company money as opposed to taking money away. So that's kind of where I focus a lot of my time on.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. And for clarification, for somebody listening, if they don't know what a hub and spoke model is, it's really about the amount of energy and time that a business owner spends being in the middle of everything. Nothing happens in the business. It's amazing that the thing that makes a great entrepreneur, which is they wear all the hats, they do everything in the beginning, is the thing that holds them back and ultimately causes them to fail at exiting the business because they can't let go. So, yeah, so it's great that you do that. And, the other interesting thing is, it's true. We're talking about exiting, but there are a lot of people coming into the business that this is their new business and they're doomed to make all the same mistakes that those that came before them make. And to the extent that we can help them not do that,
Yeah,
that's firefighting versus fire prevention. It's good to be in the fire prevention business to keep from things from
100%.
blowing up. So, no, that's cool. So, what do you see as the biggest challenges that the clients you're working with are having, and how are you helping them overcome those?
Yeah. So, and it's funny that you're talking about firefighting because part of what draws me to business coaching was my 911 background. So, like I was a call receiver. I took 911 calls all the time. And so just really having a deeper understanding of life is short and
Yeah.
we have to plan and prepare. And so into like what are the biggest challenges that I see with clients? A lot of that is they just have a lot of blind spots. And the ones that are willing and growth minded that want to be coached, they recognize too that every single person has a blind spot. And so there's a lot of belief systems around when to delegate, how to hire, how to work with the younger generation. And the younger generation wants purpose. That's really what it comes down to. And how do you provide that? How do you lead that? And so the struggles that they're having again are just like, when do I delegate? How do I delegate? And then what do I do afterwards?
And I appreciate your compliments earlier about the exits, but let me just be transparent. I've exited 6 different businesses, and I always say exits come in lots of different forms. Bankruptcy is an exit. It wasn't my plan, but 2008 was just horrible. It was like the worst thing I ever went through. But I learned so much from that. And it literally drove me to figure out how if I could do something about making sure that someone I know never went through what I went through. And I don't blame anybody. I suffered from being stubborn. I refused to shut down a business that should have been shut down because I'm not a quitter. And all the stories that I tell myself, nobody will ever outwork me, blah, blah. I'm going down with the ship. Well, that's makes for good movies, but it makes for a horrible life after having to restart after bankruptcy. So I thought it was a horrible setup that here I was successful until something happened outside of my control and I just didn't adapt. I didn't manage the risk. So for me, my personal journey is I do what I do because it makes the failures I had more meaningful if other people can learn from them. Because failure is a great teacher. It's just the most expensive teacher if it's your own failure. So I'm just trying to make it easier, cheaper, faster for other people to learn from my mistakes. I wish I would have had someone like you 20 years ago, kicking me in the butt, telling me, "Hey, don't do that. That's stupid."
Well, and
I
isn't
don't
it so true
I don't
that
know if I
we
would
have
have listened, but I would have at least appreciated hearing that.
that it's the experiences in our lives that we're able to, go through and then and Ed Milet talks about that, right? You go through an experience, you go through something that's traumatic or hard and you get through it and now you have the skills and ability to be able to teach others so that we can help them prevent those same mistakes.
Exactly.
So good on you for doing that.
There's so many, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. That was definitely the case for me. It didn't
Mhm.
kill me, but it made me a lot stronger. And I can go through it again without the fear because it's the uncertainty of not knowing. Yeah, it's the mistakes that I made that I didn't know I was making. And so at least now what we try to do is help clients make decisions and understand the intended and unintended consequences of those decisions so they could at least have their eyes open and do it with intention. So things that I just thought instinctively were the right things to do. And in hindsight, the exact opposite would have been what I should have done. And that's kind of the cruel joke that life plays on all of us. So appreciate what you do. I love the work that we're doing in the marketplace and look forward to working with you on some opportunities. Let's shift gears here. Let's have a little bit of fun. I want people to get to know the person behind the brain I want to play a quick game with you. So this is called the lightning round. I'm just going to ask you some quick questions. Just give me whatever comes to mind. There are no wrong answers. I have a feeling you're
Oh, okay.
going to be
This is
really
the
good
game.
at this. All right, I'll
Okay.
start off with something easy. How about coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs, 100%.
All
Absolutely.
right, so the zombie apocalypse just broke out and you have time to grab one thing before you have to flee for your life. What would it be?
Ooh, that's a good one. Free from my life. My husband.
Well, I'm sure he would appreciate that. Do you have a favorite streaming series or TV show that you would recommend to people that you're watching?
I don't watch a lot of TV, so I actually get made fun of a lot because, people make references to movies or shows, and I have no idea what it is.
That's okay.
I am watching Severance right now, and I think that's a
Okay,
pretty good show.
good, good. How about a book that you've read at one point in your life that really made an impact?
The Millionaire Next Door.
Okay, good book. I read that. I think that came out like, my goodness, 20 something years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So obviously you read it, when you were a teenager.
Oh, definitely,
Definitely.
yes.
Yeah, as did I. Think about bucket list items. We all have bucket lists of things we want to accomplish. What's a bucket list item you've already accomplished in your life?
Well, I just did that 3-week trip across the South with two of my daughters. That was a bucket list trip. That was started with a conference for Value Builder. Stayed in North Padre Island down in Texas for about a week. And then my two youngest daughters and I drove across the South, went through Louisiana, met you
Which
and
was a
Thomas
highlight for
for
me was
lunch.
meeting your
It was,
daughters.
it
Your
was,
daughters
it
are
was a highlight for us
incredible.
too.
Yep.
And then ended up over in Orlando. So we went to Universal Studios. We actually knocked off a few bucket list items in
Awesome.
that one trip. It was pretty amazing.
Just watching your daughter looking around Cracker Barrel, she'd never been there before. And I'm thinking, how cool is it to experience something that, I take for granted, that I can go to every day, but watching someone who's looking around going, this place is awesome.
Oh, and I got to tell you, Brian, that entire trip was full of new stuff. The girls hadn't seen Buc-ee's, hadn't either. They hadn't been to Texas or any of those states. So it was pretty phenomenal. To business owners. My business ran without me the entire 3 weeks. I came back, basically stepped right into one of our quarterly conferences where we put all of our clients together in a room, get all of our stuff done. And basically I just had to walk in there and present.
That's
And
awesome.
it felt so great for my team to be there and be ready to go, just be a testament to, what I'm asking clients to do.
Yeah, that's incredible. So you practice what you preach. That's awesome. One significant challenge that you've had to overcome, and what's a big takeaway that you learned from that?
In business,
And you
because
can
we need like 3 hours if we're going to talk about personal life.
pick
But
just one thing that you can talk about in 30 seconds.
one thing, we have struggled to get our marketing generator moving. We have tons of knowledge in sales, we have tons of knowledge in so many different areas. And we know, like deep down, that what we're doing is changing lives, but for some reason, we're having a hard time with lead gen.
Got it. And so takeaway, what's the lesson you learned?
On that one, I don't know that I've learned the lesson yet. We're still working it out.
All right, work in progress. Cool. Well, listen, I appreciate you being on the podcast. Before I let you go, how can people reach out to you and learn more about what you do?
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's great. So we did just recently release an ebook called The Perfect Fit.
That's how fresh it
Uh,
is. You can't even, you don't even know the title until just now. That's awesome.
yes, I need more
Breaking
coffee.
news.
Breaking news. Yes, our ebook called The Perfect Fit is fantastic. Yeah, just go to our website or follow us on Facebook, Kendra Wiiest, Wiiest.
Awesome. For those listening, we'll put it in the description. So if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, just go ahead and click on the description. You'll find all that information on how to reach Kendra so that you can reach out and get the benefit of her amazing personality and her wit and her wisdom. So
Ah,
anyway, great
thank
having
you.
you. It's a treat, and I look forward to talking to you further. In the meantime, everybody, I encourage you to go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We've got lots of great resources like Kendra out there, and the link to that channel is in this video. So have a great day, and Kendra, thanks again for
Thank you so much,
being a
Brian. I
guest on the
appreciate you.
podcast. Appreciate you too. Thanks.